Je l'ai lu.
Le livre dit que...
Ouais.
Irreversible is a disgusting movie, and I'm gonna tell you why. There are 3 basic reasons it doesn't work. It's unpleasant to watch, it's filmed in a way that removes any satisfaction, and even if you enjoy all the scenes that gave this movie its recognition, that's only about half of it. The rest is kinda nothing. And the basis of this French art thriller, as they call it, that's right, art this is, follows Alex, played by notable actress Monica Bellucci, who is violently raped, potentially beat to death, leaving her lover and ex-lover to seek vengeance, in an extremely graphic, violent manner. We're gonna have an issue showing a lot of this movie because a good amount is just nudity and profanity. But I do want to note, despite the low rating this received, there are a lot of people who defended this and think it's, well, artistic. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I know where they're coming from. It's literally in the title. The gimmick is the movie plays in reverse, and the events depicted really hammer home the idea of things being irreversible. On paper, it could be a powerful message, it could be an effective statement, but for the 3 aforementioned reasons that could have easily not been a thing, all we really get is a collection of overly disturbing scenes. To be clear, it all comes down to the way it's filmed, being shot through multiple long takes, making up each scene, which are then played in reverse order. In 2023, there was a new version called the Straight Cut, which does rectify most of these issues, so if you haven't seen it yet, it's the way to go. But that's over 2 decades later, this idea was still put to film, and some people liked it. It's not just the scene order, the camera is notably shaky and hard to follow. I know the same defenders will say that's the idea, it's supposed to be gritty and unpleasant, but at some point that idea is just an excuse. Throughout the movie's more hectic scenes, it's legitimately obnoxious, especially in the end. It led to a lot of confusion. If the entire movie was done in one take, at least it'd be impressive, but I have seen movies like that, such as Boiling Point, a great movie, and in the end, the results looked a lot better. Shooting several scenes that are not fun to watch does not garner acclaim. Anybody can do that, and that very notion is essentially what the movie is. Literally, anybody could think this up. The concept, the things that made it stand out, even being played in the correct order, is still nothing too impressive, but it's no secret the movie is reliant on being unpleasant. I just don't see it as artistic as some people seem to. I guess preference could be a thing. But what I do know is when you watch a movie, you want some kind of satisfaction. If it's just unpleasant, if you're just watching profanity and violence, I really don't get the point. Again, anybody could do that. And because of the way the events are shot, that's all you get. After a few clips that don't matter, we see 2 men barge through a strip club called the Rectum. Perhaps for creativity, it's one of the aforementioned hard-to-make-out scenes, which I can't show too much of due to lots of frontal nudity. But to keep it simple, the scene concludes with them beating the supposed rapist to death, which again I can't show because it's extremely graphic and realistic, but given we don't know what the hell's going on, we could be potentially watching 2 nutjobs who completely lost it. It's no fun watching the vengeance play out because you don't know what happened yet. And a little detail some people get wrong, I don't blame them, who would rewatch this, they don't even get the right guy. But you know what they say, it's the thought that counts. Still, it's another disturbing layer that has no effect because when we see what the guy does to lead to this, you're probably not gonna remember. I didn't for a long time, I thought they got the right guy, but it didn't by any means fix the movie because while watching it, you don't care. It seems like it's designed to be rewatched, but to be honest, I don't know how to feel about that. I mean, literally, if somebody said, let's go watch Irreversible, and I responded, no, I've seen it, and they said, well, let's watch it again, I would say,
Are you out of your fucking mind?
or at least question, Why? I am completely in favor of graphic content in movies, in games, and even music if it tells a compelling story. Rammstein is like a top 5 band for me. I have endless respect for Till Lindemann. If you're familiar, you'll get what I mean. But in the case of this movie, there is no purpose aside from being edgy, deliberately violent, overly unpleasant. That's the reason I occasionally avoid notably vile movies, because the outcome tends to be something like this. Yeah, you have cases like Martyrs when without the disturbing tone, without the violent content, the movie wouldn't work. It's there for a good reason. In this case, you could literally tone the violence down, maybe even not show it, and you'd get the same message. It wouldn't affect anything, it adds nothing to it, it's just to get attention. Believe me, I do not say that lightly. I've thought about this with many people, but when we get to the actual rape scene, I question, who is this for? I'll give credit where it's due, it's extremely realistic and quite lengthy, so they capture the right mood there. But for the same reason, we get nothing out of it, we already saw the outcome. If you really pay attention, it's not even the right guy who gets punished, so why are we even watching this? Am I supposed to enjoy the fact that it leads nowhere? I get that not everything ends good, but this is literally and figuratively backwards writing.
And you recognize nothing.
However, the actress, like I said, is notable. It's not just some random nobody they found to do this. I'm kinda glad about that because if not, I'd really be questioning how this came to be. But in the end, if you enjoy watching this, I'd have to assume you just like watching this stuff. I don't know what the point is. I mean, let's face it, I've seen people talk about Terrifier and literally ignore everything but the violence, just focus on that. Disregard all the cool elements you don't get in that many franchises, especially extremely violent franchises. It's part of the reason a lot of us got into the franchise, the gore led to notoriety, but it's by no means the best thing about Terrifier. It's why many people call the franchise overrated. It's the same reason I call this overrated. But those movies, if anything, are at least fun to watch. I think they're way more than that. To say I'm excited about part 4 is an understatement. But if you don't like it, that's fine, and I can see why many people don't. This is not me wanting to knock something because it's dark, it's because it has no merit. If you don't like watching intense violence and rape sequences, I don't know why anybody would say this is a good movie. I will emphasize again, I don't have an issue with the scenes played in the right order. The movie is actually okay, though nothing too amazing. But even if I completely missed the message, I do have to ask, what's next? So far we've seen graphic violence, 2 men going crazy trying to find some guy, leading to more unpleasant scenes, a very realistic rape sequence. Well, my friends, you get a lot of nothing, and we've only gone slightly past the halfway point. You see, the best argument I've seen people make for this film, literal reviews, leaning in this one direction, the very idea of it being irreversible. Watching the remainder of this movie really feels like you're watching something in reverse, as it should, but opposed to being disturbing like the rest of the movie, I'm just bored. There are some things to note, like at the party when Marcus, her boyfriend, gets drunk, causing her to leave, which may have inadvertently led to the events to come, and the scene that chronologically takes place first, in which they're completely naked, so I can't show that. But it's implied that she may be pregnant. Not confirmed, but implied. All this stuff does help the narrative. A potential baby makes it more tragic. The fact that Marcus may be somewhat to blame. It's still nothing new. The movie be reliant on its dark content nonetheless, but it's the reverse order that completely kills it. You can say it's the idea, you can say it's innovative all you want, but here's the thing. I kind of knew that from the beginning. You can kind of tell the reverse narrative is supposed to have an impact, even though I still don't think it really does. And by the end, it merely confirms the theory. It's irreversible. It can't be undone. It's too late. it's not that innovative.
You just don't get it because you're not smart enough.
Also, a lot of these final scenes are quite lengthy and just not really that fun to get through. So the combination of that, a movie that completely misses the mark, leads me to the conclusion that Irreversible is nothing but a disgusting movie. Given the low rating, some must agree, but I know many do defend this. I will always give a movie like this props when it's done correctly, but despite my best efforts, I don't see how this is. I get nothing out of it unless you really like violence and extended rape scenes. I don't know why you'd watch it. I'm not saying it's the only reasoning. Maybe some people see the message, deem it artistic, and if so, that's your opinion, but I don't agree with it. It's unpleasant, you get no satisfaction, it's really dull by the end. Like the movie's ideals, it's backwards in every way, and that includes quality. For those who enjoy it, more power to you. Maybe you can explain why down in the comments. Possibly like the video while you're at it, and consider subscribing. I have the Cinema Analyst link down below, in which I cover new movies on a weekly basis, and there is the Game Analyst too, again both linked down below. I'm the Analyst, and remember kids, when it comes to bludgeoning somebody repeatedly to death, you've got to make sure it's the right guy.